Hello fellow riders, Trace here with Mountain Bike Action Magazine. Back in 2008, when Pivot first launched the Firebird, we've always been fans of this hard-hitting, long travel attitude. Today, there's an all-new Firebird that's out with a complete redesign to be a faster enduro racing bike. Every Pivot that's received the new shock layout and more compact frame design has seen massive improvements across the board. Jumping right into it, let's go ahead and go over what this new Pivot has to offer. Like last year, the Firebird utilizes Pivot's hollow core carbon construction and cable port system. Another carryover from last year is a flip chip in the swing arms linkage mount, offering 0.06 degrees of head and seat tube angle adjustment and 6 millimeters of bottom bracket height adjustment. The bike comes standard in the low setting, but those who want quicker handling or a 27.5-inch rear wheel, a mixed or mullet setup, can easily achieve that on this bike, but that is where the similarities end. As mentioned, the new vertical shock layout allows for more compact and rigid frame while still allowing for water bottles and repair tool space inside the front triangle in all sizes. Each size features variable tube sizes and shaping along with specific geometry to ensure a similar ride quality across the range. The geometry is a little slacker and longer, but not excessively so. Reach grows by 16 millimeters and the head tube angle is a degree slacker at 64. Where we see a big change is the seat angle, getting steeper by 2.5 degrees. Our side's Lars is at 77 degrees, but remember, this will vary by frame size. Ultimately, this gives taller riders on larger bikes a steeper actual angle, keeping them better centered over the bike and bottom bracket. Another measurement change is the chainstay lengths to keep the rider consistently centered over the wheels. And a new universal rear derailleur hanger that rotates backwards for derailleur protection and features a ramp on the inner edge to keep the chain away from the frame if it tries to jump off the cassette. Pivot offers a staggering 20 different configurations for the Firebird in both Shimano and SRAM-based builds. Price ranges from about $6,000 for the Race XT build to $13,000 for a Team XX1 Axis Live Valve build. Our test bike came with a mid-level Pro XT XTR build and Reynolds carbon wheel upgrade. From a value perspective, this build is probably what we would pick with a solid drivetrain, factory level Fox 38 fork, and X2 shock. But if we wanted to save some cash, we'd be perfectly happy skipping the upgrade and running DT Swiss XM1700 aluminum wheels as well. Now that we've covered some tech talk, let's hit the trails and go over our thoughts. Climbing. It's not the Firebird's primary focus, but it still climbs very well. The steeper seat angle really puts the rider in a comfortable and efficient position, making long grinds quite tolerable. Pedaling performance is efficient and active at all times, with so little movement that shock's compression to switch to firm things up was rarely needed. In fact, the bike felt more efficient over rough terrain and uneven ground while the climbing switch was off. Compared to the slightly lighter, steeper, and more nimble Pivot switchblade that we happen to have on hand during testing, the Firebird predictably felt a little heavier, longer, and at the front end, just a bit slower to react at low speed. Point this bird downhill and things start happening fast. So far, for the time that we had the bike, all of our test riders have felt that the bike is ultra quick and absolutely craves steep, bombed out, chunky trails. We had to take multiple runs on the trails we knew well to recalibrate our idea of fast. So far for our testing, we've put this bike up against the roughest, steepest trails on our test loops to match the bike's capabilities. We've had this all new Pivot Firebird for about a month before today's launch. Without giving too much away before our full review, we will say that so far, this bike is ideal if you race enduro or just see it climb as a path to the next technical descent. The rider ready to tame this machine really needs to be deliberate and have a desire to go fast. If you're looking for an enduro bike that won't hold you back, the all-new Firebird will help your riding take flight. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Mountain Bike Action Magazine. We have more reviews coming up along with this bike in our November issue, so make sure to grab a copy of the latest, and we'll see you out on the trails.